Dissolve the apartheid
So what would you like to
Allow
see happen,
Palestinians-
Hassan?
Do you not understand the English language?
What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the Hasan Hour broadcast coming to you live from rainy but now sunny California, Los Angeles. Folks, we're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is a hump day. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's hump day 10/15, Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. I finally finished Code Geass, and I have questions. It was a really interesting ending. It was really cool ending, but I think season 2 was nowhere near as good as season 1. And I don't know if that's just me in general. I don't know if it's specifically my thing. Like, maybe it's just I don't personally like the heavy-handed like religious undertones as much as I like the terrorism angle, you know? Cuz like the first season is like entirely about like doing revolutionary war against like a colonial occupation. But yeah,
I, Lelouch v. Britannia, command you. Now all of you, die.
it's
Yes, I am Zero, the man who leads the Black Knights, who challenges the Holy Britannian Empire.
that's a fucking vibe, dude. Bro, I hate that character design. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot that there's a lot that I would say are not my favorite things in Code Geass. I would say that I'm not like a big mecha fan, for example. So all the mecha stuff I didn't really like, but it wasn't enough for me to pull myself out of it, basically, because like the politics of it I really enjoyed. And I didn't necessarily appreciate the art style that much either. Like, it's just not my favorite. Like, I think that there are different art styles that I enjoy more than that. But even then, it was endlessly watchable almost exclusively because of the politics of it all. Because like you rarely have that direct of a, you know, anti-hero that is engaging in like revolutionary war against colonial occupation and all of the ups and downs of this process, where like they basically say Lelouch is crazy, you know, but sometimes you need like a crazy person finally to overcome a tremendous hardship like that, overcome colonial occupation like that. So I really appreciated that. I really appreciated that. Overall, great stuff. Like I said, not the biggest fan of the art style in general. I know people will yell at me for it, and not like the biggest mecha fan in general either. And I didn't like the second season as much as I appreciated and enjoyed the first season. The first season was like chock full of mostly just the kinds of politics that I enjoy, and then the second season, on the other hand, had like more of this like you know, the Geass, like what is it, you know, God, and how humanity should move, you know, that type of thing. Subbed or dubbed, the ending changes depending on which. Wait, what? I watched it dubbed. What do you mean the ending changed? I watched it 2 seasons. Bro, they had an Evangelion style situation. Is that what it is? Where like they have a different ending? They did the Evangelion thing. No, the movie continues the story. Wait, really? Code Geass dub is the best in anime. Chat, y'all are capping. Yeah, I didn't have an issue with the dubbing at all. I thought the dubbing was really good. Very good. Highly recommend it. Definitely peak. Totally understand why people say it's peak. I feel like it's quite difficult for people to like, if they watched that when they were growing up, I feel like their development was probably spectacular. You know, it very clearly teaches people that sometimes violent acts are necessary against like unjustifiable systemic forces of violence. Like if there's a, you know, colonial superpower that's just like ritualistically humiliating their subjects and destroying their day-to-day existence and relegating them to second-class status, people are inevitably going to rise up against that and fight back against that. And that the emancipatory need is the most honest and most just thing that people feel in their hearts. And yeah, I mean, obviously it is still chock full of like great man theory commentary, which I don't necessarily appreciate to that same degree, but I like that the transparent, positive morality of Callan, for example, as opposed to the inconsistencies at times with the way that Lelouch operates, really made me understand the politics of the writers themselves. Even without actually diving into the background of the writers, it's very clear that there are like good people. There are some good people even on the Britannian side, but there are objectively good people throughout the entire process in the resistance front on the side against the Holy Britannian Empire. It's to the point now that all the hog trolls are just fucking ESPN breaking down every single little decision you make with your dog. Yeah, I saw. It's very, very stupid. And you know, they're just gonna keep pushing it over and over again when they're like, they're talking about like regular socialization and all this shit. Who gives a fuck? Who cares, man? Let him fucking chirp. Okay, you know the truth. You know what's going on. That's all that matters. The goalposts keep moving. Yeah, I'm a bad dog dad, bad trainer. I'm bad. Most of the people that are doing that unironically are oblivious to how, one, dogs behave, and they anthropomorphize how dogs behave, and two, they're oblivious to training in general because they've never trained a dog, even if they do have dogs. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. They don't understand it. And then there are people who do actually train dogs or have trained dogs in the past who are like, hey, guys, I think you're getting a little out of hand here. This is normal socialization. And you're just looking for any reason that you can to continue this narrative that he's like, you know, abusive, or now you've moved away from he's abusive to he's a bad dog dad. We don't have to acknowledge every little thing that goes on the hater side, I think, especially because, you know, that would take away from trying to do my job, which is part of the reason why I don't often cover the drama past the point of like making the first response.
Hey, did you hear? What? Infamous radical extremist and charlatan Hasan Piker electrocuted his dog while streaming live to his thousands of brainwashed fans. Seriously? What the hell? Yeah, he reached off screen for like a button or something, and then his dog yelled. That's terrible. Damn. Yeah. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. Wait, why? Hey, did you hear? Beloved celebrity and social democrat content creator HasanDaily refuted the claims that he shocked his dog. Wait, I thought he did, though. That was a mass smear campaign. He showed the actual collar he uses, and it doesn't shock dogs, apparently. Okay, well, I'm glad he didn't do that, then. Yeah. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. Wait. Political opportunist and con man Hasan Piker actually did shock his dog. There's new evidence. Any updates? Several. The idea of a person known as Hasan Piker is possibly, though without certainty, using maladaptive methods of animal training. However, the subject has hit national attention, and at this point the nature of truth is highly unknown. I'm not following. Thousands of reports, videos, deep dives, and investigations have churned up seemingly contradictory information. The incident, as it shall forthwith be known, has attained a status only comparable to crisis events. Crisis? A comic book event wherein timelines are reset, organized, and or restructured for continuity. Did he shock his dog or not? Factions of political thought have shifted. The reality through which we previously measured scientific phenomena has broken down. It's become clear that all that can be unknown can never be unknown, and vice versa. What do you think happened? I don't know. Is this just how the internet works now? Or yeah. Great.
That's so good. Oh, Jesus Christ. Dude, it has been the most nutty experience, considering that, like, I've obviously had, like, my fair share of controversies, but I've never in a million years would have experienced something where it's like very obviously and transparently people just like meticulously going through every minutia and everything that takes place on a stream with great intensity to try to drive home this fucking narrative that is like universally despised. Like animal abuse is understandably something that every single person with a brain, with a mind, with a conscience is going to be against. I'm against animal abuse. I care about animal welfare. I've worked with no-kill shelters in Los Angeles, as you guys know, over and over again. I've worked with animal conservationists like Maya, and worked on numerous other initiatives amongst a million different things, right? And it's obviously something that I care about. Animal conservation, animal sanctuaries, animal welfare is something that I do care about. And I think it's like a very good indication of a person's worldview. If someone mistreats those who are vulnerable, like pets, Like you can tell that they're not a very good person. It's a great indication, which is I think the reason why a lot of people ran with this story, and also a lot of people who just basically saw one clip were geared to assume that this is what was going on, that there was like a major crisis here. But never in a million years would I have actually thought that it would get to this degree. I mean, I think obviously like a lot of the people that are, you know, memeing about it don't consider it to be all that serious because they're fucking joking about it, you know? Hasan, white people will lynch folks over dogs. I know, but I'm like a white woman when it comes to that situation. That's what it is. I'm definitely a lot more strict in my training when it comes to my dog. I obviously am, you know, not one of those people that's just like, let your dog do whatever, you know, especially considering I have a 120-pound dog. I can't let her do whatever. If she would like jump on people and like accidentally bite someone, for example, then, you know, they would have to put her down and I would have to put myself down in that process. Having said that, however, I think it's been like, I bracketed off in like 3 groups. The way I've explained it is like the overwhelming majority of normies look at the situation and obviously care about animal welfare, and they think like they've been geared into thinking that this is a serious issue of abuse. And then you have, you know, normies who don't have dogs but obviously love animals, who don't know how dogs behave. Because if you have a dog, you know, like they sleep all the time. That's number one. They like to be around their owner all the time. And not only that, but sometimes, you know, they yelp or they try to get your attention, and it's normal. Then there's the other people that do have dogs who know that that's, you know, normal dog behavior. Having said that, they don't really train their dogs, so they think it's like actually abuse that you do like spot training or whatever. And then the last group of people are the haters that are basically like seeing this as an opportunity to really drive home the narrative for as many people as possible who've never seen me or never heard of me, that I'm a bad person as their first interaction. A person who is engaging in you know, animal abuse. The third category is those who remain at this point. The first 2 categories are people who made up their minds. Maybe they were shocked. Maybe they were confused. Maybe they got upset. They made some memes. They're just memeing for the most part. But the third group of people are the ones who are like, look at this clip. Look at that clip. Look at this clip. Like, it's obvious he's moving his arms around. Like he's fucking constantly in a state of zapping. And they moved away from the initial conversation, which was that like she didn't even have that collar on to begin with. And the only reason why I showed the collar was because people were clipping other instances. First of all, are any of the collars illegal? No. Even in the maximalist position, even if what like the people that are claiming are just like a significant threat or whatever, like most, I've said this already, e-collars that have shocking components that feel like a TENS machine, which I've used on myself in the past because, you know, I'm around dogs that have been trained with that and use it. Not only is it not illegal, but it's also straight up used in the e-fencing for people, and it's used in the training of like dogs in general. Police dogs even. Yeah. No, working dogs do get trained on e-collars. Anyway, there's a good bit of like anthropomorphizing going on. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. So Kai is harboring illegal enemies of the state. Got it? Yes.